Hello, this is Steve, and I'm reading from The Wine Spectator. The Top Wines of 2025, our annual roundup of the year's most exciting wines. In a year that has challenged the wine industry, our Top 100 offers a reflection of the resilience, commitment, and long-term view shown by wineries in 2025. Vintage quality plays a big role, as do new projects and a resurgence of historical wineries. Our editors reviewed over 10,200 wines in blind tastings during 2025, of which more than 5,500 rated 90 points or higher. This was our starting point for selecting the top 100, evaluated for quality based on score, value based on price, availability based on cases either made or imported into the United States, and importantly, the excitement and story behind the wines that we call the X Factor. The top 100 highlights the most compelling wines our editors tasted this year, just ending. At the apex of our 2025 is our 2025 Wine of the Year, Chateau Giscourt Margaux 2022, a story of perseverance and investment to improve quality that paid off handsomely in a stellar 2022 harvest in Bordeaux. Furthermore, our list of honorees provides a snapshot of the year in wine. In the following pages, you'll find both top-scoring wines and amazing values. The 2023 vintage figures prominently for California, with a strong showing from Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Zinfandel. After struggling last year, France bounces back on the strength of its 2022 vintage. Italy enjoys 20% of the entries, thanks to its leading denominations of Barolo, Barbaresco, Brunello Montalcino, and Chianti Classico. 38 wines earned their spot on the top 100 for the first time. Others demonstrated consistent performance vintage after vintage. And there are producers who make multiple wines deserving of a placement, though only one wine was selected. While 14 of the wines are priced at $100 or more, 34% cost $30 or less. Overall, the average score is 93 points and the average price $58. For a complete tasting notes of the top 100 wines, see the buying guide. Senior editors James Molesworth, Marianne Warabik, Allison Napchus, Tim Fish, Christian Byler, Mitch Frank, and Aaron Romano. Associate Editor Kenny Martin, Associate Tasting Coordinators Cassia Shifter and Christopher Cardoso, Assistant Tasting Coordinator Larry Rubin, Social Media Coordinator Rachel Shanker, and Restaurant Awards Assistant Greg Warner all contributed to the profiles. We hope you enjoy this list of great wines, impressive values, and emerging wineries that make up the Wine Spectator's Top Wines of 2025. Wine of the Year, Chateau Giscourt Margaux 2022, 95 points, $68 a bottle, 15,000 cases made. When it comes to Bordeaux, things aren't easy these days. Recent vintages have been mercurial in quality, while the region's annual spring and primeur campaigns have fizzled. Tariffs haven't helped, but if you needed a reminder, Bordeaux is the greatest wine in the world, and the producers evolve with changing times. The Chateau Giscourt Margaux 2022 is your wine. This third growth classified estate earns our top honor this year. The route to fashioning this benchmark 2022 bottling has been long and winding. Flashback to 1995, when Dutch businessman Eric Albade Jangsma purchased a controlling stake in Giscourt from Nicolas Tarry for $31 million. Soon thereafter, Jagersma encountered his first hurdle, accusations from French anti-fraud authorities who claimed that the estate had engaged in illicit winemaking in the 95 vintage, including the addition of wine from less prestigious Haute-Medoc appellation into its Grand Vin, and the use of oak chips for flavor. By all accounts, Jagersma had been unaware of what Giscourt's technical team was up to. He quickly offered to buy back the affected bottles and replace those responsible for adulterating the wine. Initially hired as a harvest intern by Jagersma, a young Alexander Van Beek soon took on a full-time job at Giscourt that included defending its reputation going forward. While there was some reputational damage for Giscourt as a result of the result was a newfound focus on quality and authenticity, with Van Beek at the tip of the spear and technical director Dieter Faure, hired in 2008, by his side. Terry died in 2001, and his children began a dispute over the ownership of Giscourt. Albade Jagersma's 51% stake was in Société de l'Exploitation du Château Giscours SAS, an entity that controlled the farming of the vineyard as well as the brand and sales rights. The Tauris heirs controlled GFA du Château Giscours, the entity that owned the buildings and vines. The dispute would last 22 years, during which time Albada Jurgsma died, leaving his enterprise to his children, Dennis, Dirk, and Valerie. Finally, in 2023, the remaining Tauris family members liquidated their assets and sold to the Albada Jurgsma heirs. All along, Van Beek, now 54, stayed focused, steadily elevating and adding consistency to the Grand Vin. Giscours' estate totals about 1,000 acres, with nearly 400 of them planted to vines. About 250 are in the Margaux AOC. The rest are in neighboring Haute-Medoc AOC. The estate has retained its historical boundaries over time, which are bisected by the Margaux AOC boundary when it was drawn in 1954. When Van Beek started, the vineyard had 140,000 missing vines. Using a parcel of vines planted in 1923, Van Beek began a sélection massale, propagating new cuttings to help replace them. The effort helped bring the vineyard back into full production and better health. Today, nearly 60% of the vineyard is more than 30 years old. These new plantings brought a hurdle of their own, however. Historically, the estate was picked all at once over 2 weeks. Yet as the vineyard progressed, Van Beek saw that parcels with varying vine ages were ripening at different periods. With the 2018 vintage, Van Beek began having his vineyard team spend 5 weeks to bring in the crop, making successive passes through the same parcel to bring in only fruit that was at optimal ripeness. Consultant Thomas Duclos began working with Giscours during the 2018 vintage, and Van Beek says his influence is significant both in the vineyard, where the cover crop has been implemented, and in the cellar, focusing on purity and finesse in extraction. Jérôme Poisson was hired as estate manager in 2021. With his new team assembled and a vineyard that had undergone a major overhaul, Van Beek had set the table for the final renaissance of Giscours. The vineyard excelled in the warm 2022 vintage, producing a 60-30-3-3 blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Petit Verdot, and Cabernet Franc that shows a decidedly fresh profile as it offers up an array of floral nuances along with the classic cassis and plum fruit flavors. The mouthfeel is seductive, while a light-handed toast allows the finish to sail through unencumbered. Additionally, the team felt the 22 vintage was so strong that no second wine was made, resulting in an ample case production. The efforts of Van Beek to surpass numerous obstacles over a generation is a clear example of how wine is a long game. His strivings coalesced in the superb 2022 Grand Vin, earning Château Giscours our Wine of the Year honors for 2025. Bravo! Number 2 Wine of the Year, Aubert, Chardonnay, Sonoma Coast, UV-SL Vineyard, 2023. This wine combines a renowned winemaker, a special vineyard, and an exceptional vintage. Marc Aubert makes Chardonnay that he describes as hedonistic for their full body and ripe fruit flavors, while they also show terroir-driven precision and finesse. The UV-SL Vineyard, planted with the late vineyard manager Ulysses Valdez Sr., is just 6 miles from the Pacific Ocean. Regarding the 2023 vintage, Aubert says, the weather was conducive for flavor development. Chardonnay grapes climb up this crescendo, and then when you get it to the crescendo, you know you've got the flavor you want. It's all about flavor for us. 2,300 cases produced. Number 3 wine, Ridge, Lytton Springs, Dry Creek Valley, 2023, 95 points, $56. Dry Creek Valley is the epicenter of California's Zinfandel, with few vineyards that express that like Lytton Springs. It was first planted in 1901, and Ridge's first bottling was in 1972. The soil in the flatlands is gravelly loam full of rocks, boasting the oldest vines, while the hill has more clay. The 2023 bottling is more than 3/4 Zinfandel, with Petit Syrah and Carignan combining a zesty, spicy character to the blend. Winemaker Shauna Rosenblum, daughter of Zin legend Kent Rosenblum, aged the wine for 16 months in American oak barrels, 19% of which are new. 11,000 cases made. Wine number 4, William Sellium, Pinot Noir, Russian River Valley, East Side Road Neighbors, 2023, 96 points, $72. William Sellium is a beloved Pinot Noir label for American wine lovers. That's thanks in large part to Jeff Mangajas, who has been head winemaker since 2014. Succeeding winemaker Bob Cabral and the brand's original founders, he has kept the house style intact, one that emphasizes vivid and ripe fruit balanced by underlying juiciness. For the East Side Road neighbors bottling, grapes are sourced from Caligari, Foss, and Lewis McGregor Vineyards Estates. The 2023 vintage is a mic drop year for the California Pinot, a consistent, cool growing season that led to a late harvest. Mangajas hit the mark, earning his Russian River Valley bottling a rare back-to-back appearance in our top 10, 2,600 cases made. Wine number 5, Chateau Beau Séjour Bécot, Saint-Emilion, 2022, 96 points, $85. Juliette Bicot's wine career began in 2001, working alongside her father Gerard, who had made wine since 1967. When he retired in 2015, Juliette wanted to honor his legacy by having Beau Séjour Bécot considered among Saint-Emilion's elite. She revamped the winemaking, focusing on freshness, detail, and precision. She and her husband, Julian Barth, oversaw the construction of a new cellar, including a new vinification tank and a range of aging vessels from barrel to foudre to clay amphore. Much of the estate's 54 acres of vines underwent replanting as well. Consulting winemaker Thomas Duclos joined in 2017, technical director Jean de Commode in 2018. This estate is now among those leading the appellation, 6,200 cases made, 1,600 cases imported into the United States. Wine number 6, Clos Apalta, 2021, Chile, 96 points, $170. When Alexandra Marnier Lapostelle purchased the vineyards in Apalta in 1994, her undertaking of excellence began with a vision to create a world-class wine. Few wineries have achieved such notoriety with Carmenere as Clos Apalta, which has made the under-the-radar grape the star of its flagship wine, earning Wine of the Year honors in 2008 with its Clos Apalta Colchagua Valley 2005. Marnier Lapostolle's son Charles de Bornay, in charge since 2013, along with chief winemaker Andrea Leon, have been honoring the winery's efforts on its Apalta estate in its mosaic of exceptional terroir, with a forward-looking mindset for relentless improvement on this iconic Chilean winery's history. 11,000 cases made, 1,500 cases imported. Number 7, Vittorio del Barbaresco 2021, 94 points, $57. In the 19th century, wine producers in Barbaresco made a bid to join the neighboring and more prestigious Barolo zone. When their overtures were rejected in 1894, local enologist Domizio Cavazza founded the Barbaresco region's first winery cooperative. It ceased operations sometime after World War I, but was reborn in 1958 as the Produttori del Barbaresco. Today, focusing exclusively on Nebbiolo grown in the commune of Barbaresco, this model co-op has also been well served by a long line of homegrown leadership. Current director Aldo Vaca, whose grandfathers were founding members, succeeded his father as the group's director. This classic blended Barbaresco earned its highest rating to date in the stellar 21 growing season. 24,000 cases made, 7,000 cases imported. Wine number 8, Wayfarer, Pinot Noir, Fort Ross Seaview, Wayfarer Vineyard, The Estate, 2023. On the Sonoma coast, the Wayfarer Vineyard began anonymously when it was planted in 2002 by Napa-based vineyard guru David Abreu. It remains his only Sonoma planting to date. The fruit was initially blended with other sources in a Sonoma Coast bottling under Jason Pallmeyer's namesake label. Daughter, Cleo Pallmeyer, joined the family business in 2008, taking the project under her wing, and Wayfarer debuted in 2012 as an independent label. When Jason sold the business to Gallo in 2019, the second-generation vintner kept Wayfarer and its high-elevation Jewel Box vineyard. The estate bottling, under the hand of winemaker Todd Cohn, combines the fruit from all parcels, including 11 colonial selections of Pinot Noir in the vineyard, 1,300 cases made. Number 9, Castello di Ama, Chianti Classico San Lorenzo Gran Selezione 2021, 95 points, $90. Castello di Ama, style of excellence, intensity, and tension, has roots in its high-elevation vineyards, which range from 1,400 to 1,700 feet in the Gaioli UGA Unità Geografiae Aggiuntiva of Chianti Classico. Wine production began in 1976, and today Lorenzo Sebasti, a daughter of one of the founding families, co-owns and manages the estate with chief enologist Marco Palanti, on board since 1982. The 2021 vintage delivered a quality benchmark for Chianti Classico, showcased in this brilliant red. With a bit of Merlot supporting the Sangiovese-based blend, Palanti's modern winemaking still honors the tradition-rooted Chianti Classico region, but it's this wine's sense of place that speaks loudest. 7,800 cases made, 1,000 cases imported. Wine number 10, Famille Isabelle Ferrado, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Saint-Préfet, 2022, 94 points, $108. Isabelle Ferrando has drawn attention since her debut 2003 vintage. Despite being a newcomer to the region, leaving a career in finance to learn winemaking, she has become a leading face of Châteauneuf-du-Pape's modern era. Fans know her wine under the Domaine Saint-Préfet label, but in 2020 she began a new chapter, changing the name to Famille Isabelle Ferrando. Joined by daughter Guillemette, she returned to the Châteauneuf tradition of blending her vineyard parcels into single cuvées. Sourced from Ferrando's original holdings in the Les Serres Liudit, planted in Grenache, Cinsault, and Mourvèdre in the hottest, driest part of the appellation, it's a wine of elegance and freshness. 2,500 cases made, 900 cases imported. Essential Seville. Highlights for visitors to this culture-rich southern Spanish city. There's a captivating charm to Seville, the largest city in southern Spain's Andalusia region. As one of the oldest cities in Spain, Seville boasts more than 2,000 years of history, resulting in an intriguing layer cake of influence in the city's architecture, food, and culture. Experience Seville's heritage during visits to lively tapas bars and signature events such as bullfights and flamenco performances. Take in Moorish, Gothic, Renaissance, Art Deco, or Baroque elements blended in the construction of the visually stunning Real Alcazar Palace or the sweeping Plaza de España. Also, explore Seville via leisurely strolls of winding streets lined with orange trees and brightly hued ceramic tiles, or with these recommendations curated for food and wine lovers. Stay. Hotel Alfonso XIII. With its expansive driveway, lushly landscaped grounds, and marble-columned portico, Hotel Alfonso XIII evokes century-old glamour. It's easy to imagine King Alfonso XIII, for whom the hotel was named, Clark Gable, or other luminaries of the 1930s sweeping in. The wow factor continues inside, with the lobby space wrapping around an inner courtyard flanked by lofty arches and columns. It's decorated throughout with lofty marble flooring, ornamental tiling, and an elaborate carved mahogany ceiling. The Alfonso XIII is without doubt Seville's most luxurious property and arguably one of the world's finest Grand Dame hotels. First opened in 1929 for Seville's World's Fair, it relaunched in 2012 after a painstaking $25 million renovation aimed at both historical preservation and sumptuous ambiance. The 147 guest rooms and suites reflect that attention to detail, with all the modern amenities as well as distinctive design in each room. The decor blends Moorish, Andalusian, and Castilian influences, with marble floors topped with boldly patterned rugs, dramatic chandeliers suspended from high ceilings, and rich textiles and accents throughout. Many of the rooms offer views of the surrounding gardens and large pool, while the top floor terrace rooms include private patio space with vistas over Seville's historic Santa Cruz neighborhood. Insider tip: if a night at the Alfonso XIII breaks the budget, stop in for a morning cortado or pre-dinner cocktail at the Restaurante San Fernando on the lobby level to soak up in the opulent atmosphere and enjoy some people watching. H10 Casa de la Plata. Located in Seville's Alfalfa neighborhood, the H10 Casa de la Plata Hotel is a great launching point for visitors eager to explore the narrow streets, tapas bars, cafes, trendy concept stores, and other retail that make the city's old town. The newly constructed and opened in 2019, the hotel appeals for its skillful fusion of modern comfort with chic design and traditional elements. The sleek front desk area is formed from cabinets displaying vintage dinnerware and silver serving pieces, while the hotel itself is centered on a tiled courtyard typical of historic homes in the south of Spain. The stylish lobby has a luxe living feel to it, with welcoming groupings of couches, coffee tables, and potted greenery. And the rooftop bar and plunge pool sparkle under the sun, with crisp white umbrellas and loungers, blue and white tiled tables, and views across the city. The 73 rooms and suites range from mid-sized double rooms to generous junior suites and family-size accommodations. All benefit from high ceilings and floor-to-ceiling windows, reliable Wi-Fi and contemporary electronics, and air conditioning that's ready to stand up to Seville's heat. Eat. Sobre Tablas Restaurante. Sobre Tablas is a wonderfully refreshing for diners fatigued by the more traditional menus and dining rooms of many southern Spain restaurants. Gifted Camila Faro, 37, a Seville native, business partner, sommelier Robert Teles, 31, offer a menu and wine list deeply respectful of Spanish roots, while incorporating all the best that modern Spain has to offer. In Ferraro's cuisine, that mentality is reflected in an appetizer that takes a rich and thick ajo blanco, a traditional garlic and almond soup, and pairs it with perfectly seared tuna belly. Slow-cooked tortina beef wrapped in thin, crispy pasta is a tribute to the nearby port city of Cadiz. Among Teta's 1,000 selection wine list, expect to find classic Spanish producers, including multiple vintages of Bodegas Velhas Sicilia's Ribera del Duero Único, as well as trendy grower producers such as Rioja's Cuentaviñas, Sirius Sherry, Burgundy, Champagne, Jura, and other international selections add breadth and depth to the list, while shining a spotlight on some of Teta's passion in wine. The restaurant is a short cab ride from the historic center in Seville's up-and-coming El Porvenir neighborhood, largely residential. The area's tree-lined streets with houses and occasional commercial enterprises are a respite from the busier parts of the city. Similarly, the restaurant's sunken dining room encourages relaxed lunches and dinners where light-filled space, honey-toned wooden tabletops, and flooring and plenty of dramatic potted greenery refine the ambiance. Churros. A trip to Seville is not complete without nibbling on churros, sticks of piping hot, savory fried dough served with melted dark chocolate. Although churros are found throughout Spain, they are Seville's signature snack. The city's natives eat churros as a decadent breakfast or in the afternoon for a calorie-filled pick-me-up, but rarely as a post-dinner dessert. Elsewhere in Spain, churros are often thinner and crunchier. In Seville, the churros are a little doughier, striking a fine balance between crisp, ridged exterior that picks up the chocolate sauce and a soft, chewy interior. Bar El Comercio, established in 1904, serves a broader menu than but they're famous for their churros and even have a takeout window at the storefront dedicated to churro service. As the name suggests, Cucuchurro focuses almost exclusively on churros, and although the Plaza de Salvador location looks anything but traditional with its neon sign and fast food feel, the accompanying churro chocolate sauce has deep roots. Cucuchurro is owned by Aroca Gonzalez, whose great-grandfather, D. Rafael Jimenez Perez, was a famous chocolatier who began chocolate production in 1898. Museo de Baile Flamenco. Flamenco is a centuries-old pastime that still thrives in southern Spain. Like ballet and other structured dance forms, flamenco marries grace and artistic interpretation with physical power and stamina. The rhythmic music backing the dancers, both vocal and guitar, is compelling and at times haunting. Throughout Seville, stores sell flamenco apparel and fans, and hotels and restaurants are decorated with related art. The true soul of flamenco is most likely found late at night in the small, less touristy bars of the Triana neighborhood, but a solid option for first-time visitors is catching a show at the Museo de Baile Flamenco. This small theater in an 18th century building in the historic center allows an up-close view and includes a museum dedicated to flamenco culture. Secret Food Tours, Seville. Part of Seville's charm is punctuating rambles through the winding streets with stops at the city's many tapas bars. It's easy to make a whole meal out of such an excursion, while at the same time enjoying one of Seville's deeply ingrained cultural experiences. To elevate an evening of tapas tasting, look to secret food tours, small group walking tours of Seville. The 3 to 4 hour tour is led by local guides who highlight historical, architectural, and cultural points on the route and ensure that tapas and drinks are quickly on hand at each restaurant visited along the way. Celebrity-packed 2025 U.S. Open showcases wine and cocktails. After a thrilling final Grand Slam event, the U.S. Open at New York's Billie Jean King Center tennis season has unofficially given way to après tennis season. As ever, this year's U.S. Open Golden Goblet overfloweth with celebrities and celebrity beverages. If you played your courts just right, a properly quenched 2025 U.S. Open itinerary started with an Aperol Spritz with Saturday Night Live's Bowen Yang, followed by a Honeydeuce shaken up by none other than home court favorite Frances Tiafoe, before popping Moet and Chandon with Dakota and Elle Fanning. Few sporting events bring out the stars and the sparkle like the U.S. Open, and Moet Chandon delivered it by the case this year in its returning role as the tournament's official champagne. Moet's flashy goblets returned the serve as well. The gold mirrored stemware has become one of the Open's must-have souvenirs. New for this year was the Moet Chandon Ice Mimosa, featuring the Maison's Ice Imperial Champagne, made to be served over ice. Another of this year's new offering was the stemless U.S. Open branded wine glass that accompanied the tournament's new official still wine, California's Clos de Bois. The wine also a stake to send two to the 26 men's final. While no beverage is more strongly marketed to the U.S. Open fans than the Grey Goose Honeydeuce cocktail, with its millennial pink hue and neon melon ball garnish, Aperol sent Bowen Young to Queens this year to tempt fans with another brightly colored September sipper, the Aperol Spritz. Not to be outdone, Grey Goose sent two-time U.S. Open semifinalist, fan favorite Frances Tiafoe to Grand Central Terminal for a surprise bartending shift at Grey Goose's last serve pop-up. We're not sure how many Honeydeuces Tiafoe served up, but in 2024, the U.S. Open served more than 550,000. This partnership is a natural extension of Dow's unwavering commitment to the craftsmanship, elevated hospitality, and pursuit of excellence. Excellence, said a representative. This same dedication is mirrored at Laver Cup, where the world's top tennis players unite in an incredible display of precision, passion, and performance. This is Steve, and I've been reading from The Wine Spectator.